The veil is shattering. Hear this warning. I see it. I see the web they wove around you, the dark fibers of envy and malice spun into a net designed to stifle your breath, to extinguish the fierce, brilliant fire of your destined light. This is not a metaphor. I am looking directly into the spiritual realm now, and the atmosphere around you is thick with the residue of attempted destruction. You must understand this truth. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to be silent. And because of the magnitude of your divine contract, the forces of stagnation, those who cannot bear the sight of authentic power, have moved against you with ferocious intent. You have been the target of complex, calculated operations. They utilized ancient, forbidden methodologies, tapping into deep, stagnant reservoirs of negativity. They sought to bind your prosperity, to silence your voice, to cripple your very will. They cast intricate spells of confusion. They sought to attach parasitic entities to your energetic field, and they celebrated prematurely what they believed was your inevitable downfall. They called upon the shadows to dim your path, to twist your words, and to turn your allies against you. They believed their dark enchantment was final. But I tell you, this is the hour of the reckoning. Look up. Look into the spiritual architecture they erected around you. It is cracking. It is crumbling. That which was sent forth with the intent to harm you has lost its trajectory. The energy is seeking its origin point. The boomerang is in flight. The universe operates by an unbreakable, immutable law. Everything sent out returns, magnified exponentially to the sender. This is not vengeance. This is physics. This is the divine balance enforcing itself. You are protected not by luck, but by the sheer blinding frequency of your soul. Your vibration is simply too high, your destiny too vast, for their pedestrian darkness to tether itself effectively. The ritual failed. The curse misfired. The occult tethering snapped back, sending a seismic shockwave through the very foundation of their malicious intent. You need proof. You need validation that the turmoil you have felt internally is not mental illness or simple bad luck, but the physical manifestation of a spiritual war that you are currently winning. The battle has left scars, but they are the glorious scars of survival. Look for the signs in your own flesh. Your body is the antenna of your soul, and it has been registering this conflict with painful accuracy. You have felt an inexplicable exhaustion, a deep cellular fatigue that no amount of sleep can alleviate. They were aiming for your life force, attempting to siphon your vital energy, but the drain you felt was not the successful theft of power, but the violent resistance of your defenses pushing the invading force back out. Do you feel the constant, high-pitched ringing in your ears? Do you dismiss it as tinnitus? Listen closer. That is the sound of your energetic field recalibrating. It is the sound of frequency warfare. The enemy's low, heavy frequencies clash against the ascending, crystalline frequencies of your being. When you hear that high-pitched tone, acknowledge it. It is your soul adjusting the dial, turning up the volume on your divine protection, filtering out the noise of the collapsing dark matrix. You experience sudden, sharp pains in your back and neck. These are not muscle strains. These are the pressure points where the psychic attacks attempted entry. Each spasm, each knot of tension, is a point where the spiritual intrusion was blocked, where the energetic arrow broke against your shield. When the pain flares, understand this: you just deflected a major blow. You are not sick. You are being calibrated. And the confusion, the intense, dizzying moments of mental fog where you cannot grasp a simple thought, this was their psychological warfare. They wanted you to doubt your purpose, to doubt your sanity, to abandon your mission. But notice how those moments of fog are always followed by flashes of blinding clarity, moments of fierce, undeniable certainty. The light always pierces the shadow. The cycle of attack and instantaneous defense is accelerating. You are not merely human. You are a recalled asset. For too long, you have walked this earth feeling like a refugee, an outsider observing a world you didn't belong to. This is the first undeniable mark of your lineage. You carry a frequency that does not harmonize with the prevailing density of this plane. You have always seen through the lies. You have always felt the inherent injustice, the pain behind the smiles, the rot beneath the polished surface. You are the way shower, the earth angel, the one sent with a specific, non-negotiable mission during this great awakening. There is a cohort, a powerful, sacred number known throughout the ages, the 144,000. They are the lighthouse keepers, the architects of the new earth, the ones whose spiritual contracts are signed in the highest realms. Most people will deny this lineage. They will laugh. They will call it arrogance. But those who are truly part of this number know the truth in the core of their being. This knowledge resonates in your bones. This is why you were targeted. The forces of entropy do not bother to attack the sleepy or the complacent. They attack the transformers, the disruptors, the ones whose very existence threatens the established order of darkness. They sought to neutralize you because you possess the codes, the frequency, and the unwavering light required to pull humanity across the chasm. The signs that you are one of the sacred 144,000 are not complex. They are profound. 1. You feel an almost physical repulsion from crowds, noise, and low vibration. It is not social anxiety. It is frequency sensitivity. 2. Your dreams are intense, vivid, and instructional. You don't just sleep. You travel and you work. Your astral body is active, assisting in collective ascension. 3. You possess an innate, immediate understanding of universal law. You didn't need a book to tell you about karma or the power of intention. You intuitively know the mechanics of creation. 4. You carry an ancient wisdom in your eyes, a feeling of having lived countless lives and seen countless worlds. You are an old soul, tired but eternally ready. Now, pause. Breathe in the reality of this moment. You are not a victim. You are a warrior in the process of elevation. The suffering you endured was the friction necessary to generate the heat for your transformation. That dark enchantment, that calculated attack, was the final necessary catalyst. It tried to break you, but instead it forged you into steel. I am speaking directly to the spark of the divine within you, the core of your limitless potential. The next phase of your destiny requires immediate energetic activation. To confirm that your frequency is matching the truth I am uttering, to stamp your acceptance of this divine contract, and to open the gates for the full return of power, you must now type the code of completion. Type 777 now. Type 777 now. Let that number reverberate through the digital currents and into the spiritual plane. 777 is the frequency of divine completion, the vibration of perfect alignment. Claim it. Own it. I see the shift beginning now. The power they tried to seize from you is not just returning. It is returning doubled, tripled. The energy of the ritual is turning inward upon the casters. They are experiencing the very confusion, the very exhaustion, the very financial collapse they plotted for you. The fear they intended to instill in you is now gripping their own hearts. They are waking up in cold sweats, suddenly burdened by the magnitude of their own wicked actions, unable to comprehend why their meticulously planned destruction has morphed into self-destruction. Their towers are falling. Their altars are crumbling. The entities they summoned are now turning on them, because when a negative entity loses its intended host, you're the high vibration target. It must feed on the weakest source available, and that source is the caster themselves. They sought to poison your well, but they succeeded only in poisoning their own vessel. The ashes of their failed malice are now the only sustenance they find. This is the glorious vengeance of the universe. This is the ultimate proof of your protection. The attempt on your life was the final examination, and you passed it with flying colors. You stood in the fire, and the fire only refined you. Now, we move from defense to offense. We move from survival to absolute triumph. Your destiny is unfolding, and the shadows that surrounded you are retreating into the darkness from whence they came. The time for hiding your light is over. The time for denying your power has passed. The world needs the full, unbridled force of your being. This realization is not the end of the journey. It is the true beginning of your reign. You are liberated. You are consecrated. You are unstoppable. Claim this power. Accept the mission. To move into part 2. To receive the specific instructions for leveraging this boomerang effect and activating the full potential of your 144,000 mandate, you must commit your intention to the universe. In the comments, you must declare, "I am ready." Declare it now. I am ready. The veil is thin now. The static is clearing. If you are hearing this frequency, your ascension is not a promise. It is an inevitability. I see the ether vibrating around you, a whirlwind of emerald and gold, swirling against the residual smoke of the battlefield. We move now into the deepest canyon of this confrontation, where intentions are stripped bare and the true price of divine calling is counted. Listen to the prophecy, for I am watching the spiritual dust settle right now. You, the few, the chosen, the carriers of the unbroken code, the 144,000, you were marked before the foundations of this world were laid. And because you carry that ancient, radiant signature, you attract a spiritual gravity unlike any other. You draw the gaze of the cosmos, but you also draw the venom of the subterranean. They tried to hide their operations. They tried to mask their methods. They wrapped their envy in smiles and their hatred in empty pleasant conversation. But I am here to pierce the illusion and name the shadow that stalked your periphery. They did this to you. They invested their meager, desperate energy into black rituals aimed solely at halting your trajectory. They did not wish you simple misfortune. They wished you cancellation. They wanted your light extinguished, your voice muted, your abundance starved at its source. They spoke your name in the darkness. They whispered their curses over physical items, burying them deep, believing that if they could corrupt the material world connected to your energy, they could corrupt your fate. They performed elaborate, ancient acts of spiritual sabotage, acts of calculated malice designed to introduce chaos and confusion into your life stream. They mixed dust and shadow, fear and resentment, attempting to create a binding agent, a spiritual cement to keep your destiny trapped at ground level. They aimed for your finances. They targeted your health. They struck at your relationships, hoping to isolate you and make you doubt your own sanity. Every setback you faced, every moment of sudden, inexplicable exhaustion, every relationship that turned sour overnight, it was not random. It was engineered. They were trying to sever the golden cord that connects you to your source. They were attempting to rewrite the divine contract that mandates your prosperity. But here is the profound, beautiful error in their calculation. Here is the monumental mistake that only the spiritually blind can make. They underestimated the power of the divine shield that encompasses the 144,000. They forgot who you are. They forgot the covenant. The first clearest sign that you belong to this numbered company is the fact that you are still standing. Look around you. You have walked through fire that should have left you ash, yet you stand, not merely surviving, but glowing. This is the evidence. This is the proof. You are the impossible survivor. You are the inevitable victor. They sent an arrow of spiritual destruction, but your frequency is too high. It did not merely miss you, it could not even touch the target. The moment their negative decree crossed the threshold of your energetic field, the law of divine recoil was activated. The universe does not tolerate the violation of a sacred frequency. When darkness aims for pure light, the light does not absorb it, it reflects it. I see the process now, an immediate, undeniable reversal. The energy they sent is not floating aimlessly in the cosmos. No, the spiritual calculus is absolute. What they invested must be returned, amplified tenfold, directly to the source of the malice. It returns. It recoils. It seeks its source. They tried to bind you in financial scarcity, and suddenly, they find their own resources evaporating, their foundations crumbling. They expected your failure. They are now facing their own bankruptcy, not just of money, but of hope. They projected illness onto your body, and now, I see the confusion in their own physical shells. Unexplained fatigue grips them, Chronic ailments manifest overnight. They are sick, and they do not understand the source, because they cannot comprehend the perfect symmetry of karmic return. The curse they launched is now their immediate, inescapable consequence. They tried to sow discord in your relationships, seeking to leave you lonely and vulnerable, and I watch now as their own inner circles disintegrate. Distrust reigns in their homes. Division rules their tables. The isolation they plotted for you is the solitude now wrapping around them. Every whisper of malefic intent is now a scream echoing in their own minds. Every ritual they performed is now a chain binding their own spiritual movement. They are paralyzed by the very stagnation they wished upon you. This reversal is one of the 11 undeniable signs that you are a vessel of the chosen few. Most people, if targeted by such potent malice, would simply break. Their spirit would shatter, their life force would dwindle, and they would accept the imposed fate. But you did not accept it. Your soul recognized the attack and triggered an automatic, cosmic defense mechanism. You felt the pressure. Yes. You felt the oppression. You struggled. But every struggle was merely the friction needed to polish your shield. This is the key to understanding your current reality. Your trials are not punishments. They are confirmations. They confirm that your trajectory is so bright, so powerful, that it requires constant attempts at obstruction. The greater the attack, the greater the destiny. Look deeply into your own history over the past few years. You survived the unsurvivable. You lost everything only to gain something infinitely better. The positions they tried to steal from you became shackles for them. The glory they tried to deny you became the radiant fuel for your unexpected breakthroughs. They sought to steal your peace. But you have found a deep, unshakable calm precisely because you know, on a soul level, that you are under absolute protection. They are raging against a celestial force field, and their rage is only wounding themselves. I watch them now, in the spectral courtroom. They are bewildered. They look at the darkness they sent out and see it returning, massive and enraged, directed straight at their own house. They tried to create a spiritual vacuum around you. They have succeeded only in creating a spiritual vortex that is now consuming them. They made sacrifices to bring you low, and those sacrifices are now demanding a payment they cannot afford, the price of their own spiritual freedom. They traded your potential comfort for their eternal discomfort. Let this sink into your consciousness. You do not need to fight them. You do not need to retaliate. The divine justice mechanism is flawless. Their undoing is not your task. It is the inevitable consequence of their defiance against the light you carry. Your job is simply to continue shining. Your job is to increase your frequency. Your job is to walk forward without looking back at the wreckage they are becoming. Every time you level up, every time you achieve a goal they tried to block, you are delivering the ultimate verdict. You are the instrument of their karmic balancing. This is the power of the 144,000. They cannot touch you. They can only prove your invincibility. Understand the profound truth I am declaring over your life today. You are not merely safe. You are weaponized by your own holiness. Every attack is fuel. Every malicious intent is an enforced elevation. They tried to cast you out. They have succeeded only in casting themselves into the shadow of your impending triumph. You are shielded. You are protected. The boomerang has returned. Their season of malicious activity has ended in their own self-destruction. I decree this truth into the collective consciousness now. I demand this acknowledgement from your spirit. You must lock this truth into the digital realm so that the mechanism of protection is solidified across all planes. If you recognize this truth, if you know that the weapons formed against you failed, if you feel the immediate, inescapable power of your own divine protection, you must declare it. To seal this truth, to affirm the reversal, to manifest the unbreakable nature of your shield, you must comment below with the single word that reflects your status. Comment the word, shielded. The shadows retreat now. They dissolve. You have endured the midnight assault. You have walked through the fire they ignited to consume you. But the battlefield is not the final resting place. The narrative shifts. We ascend. We are no longer discussing mere skirmishes in the lower frequency planes. We are entering the high court of the universe. Listen closely, for I speak to the spirit that resides within the physical frame of the anointed, the one marked by the unique spiritual DNA, the 144,000. They believed their dark arts, their ritual bindings, and their whispered hexes were the final word. They poured their venom into the spiritual well, expecting you to drink the poison and perish. But the laws of the eternal kingdom are immutable. The suffering you endured was simply the filing of the cosmic complaint. Now, the gavel is raised. Breathe deeply. Feel the shift in atmosphere. The air here is purified light, so intense it burns away every attachment of fear, every residual trace of the enemy's touch. You stand now, not as the victim, but as the plaintiff's protected witness, called before the Ancient of Days. Look to your left, where the accuser stands. He is the master prosecutor of the lower realms, meticulously detailing every perceived flaw, every stumble, every moment of human frailty. He points to the moments of doubt they engineered. He displays the dark contracts they attempted to sign over your destiny. He screams the charges of unworthiness. He demands your soul be sequestered, your calling revoked, your future forfeited. This is the spiritual indictment that fueled the occult attacks sent against your health, your finances, your relationships. He claims ownership because he believes he successfully contaminated the field around you. He claims the dark rituals performed against your name gave him jurisdiction. He says, "Look, they performed sorcery against this one, and this one faltered. The evidence of the attack proves their weakness." Silence. There is a deep, profound, absolute silence in this celestial tribunal. A silence so heavy it crushes the frivolous accusations of the adversary. You are not alone in this courtroom. Look forward. See the advocate, your divine counsel, the one whose name is above every other name, standing between you and the consuming light of the judge. He does not debate the existence of the attacks. He does not deny the severity of the occult weapons deployed against you. He simply presents the evidence that overrides all lower laws. He presents you. The advocate lifts his hand, and immediately, the scrolls of your destiny are unrolled. These are not the false scripts written by the sorcerers in their dark caves. These are the pristine or original blueprints established before the foundation of the world. The advocate declares, "This one is sealed. This one carries the indelible mark. This one is part of the royal priesthood. This one is among the 144,000. This is where your unique spiritual identity becomes the ultimate defense. Remember the 11 signs that confirm your calling. Every sign the enemy attempted to snuff out. Your deep empathy, your unbreakable resilience, your prophetic dreams, the isolation that preserved your purity. Every one of those signs is read into the record. The advocate declares, the very darkness they sent was intended to reveal the light they could not extinguish. The attacks did not break the seal. They merely polished the diamond. The judge, the source of all authority, whose presence is a living fire, gazes upon the accuser, and the ruling is issued, shattering the foundation of every hex, every curse, every binding ritual performed from the lowest earth plane to the highest astral projection. The voice of the judge is not thunder, it is law. The judgment is rendered upon the very intention of the senders. They intended destruction. They aimed to derail your divine assignment. But the immutable law of the kingdom states that no weapon formed against the chosen shall prosper. No weapon shall prosper. I repeat this. No weapon shall prosper. The judge declares the spiritual indictment null and void. The dark contracts are consumed instantly, reduced to smoke in the divine fire. And then comes the critical decree, the mandate of the great reversal. Because the attacks were directed against one who is sealed, one whose DNA carries the frequency of the 144,000, the energy of the sorcery cannot be absorbed. The divine judicial system recognizes the intent of harm, but rejects the target as untouchable. Therefore, the judge commands, let the energy be reclaimed by its origin. Let the poison return to the vessel that poured it. Let the confusion they plotted against the innocent rebound as chaos in their own camp. Let the financial drought they engineered against the chosen be visited tenfold upon the hand that cast the spell. Let the sickness they wished upon the anointed be manifest in their own physical house. This is not revenge. This is judicial law. This is the ironclad decree of the celestial court. The attack was not merely deflected, it was legally compelled to turn back and deliver its intended consequences, not upon you, but upon the sender. They thought they were performing a ritual of downfall. They were unknowingly initiating the judgment against themselves. They tried to bury you, but they only planted a seed that the judge decreed must now flourish. And the soil that received the seed of their destructive intent is now rendered barren for them. The boomerang effect is not a random cosmic fluke. It is a legal enforcement. It is the immediate consequence of attacking the sealed property of the king. I see it now, reflected across the dimensional tapestry. The exact moment the verdict is delivered, the power of the dark rituals, which had coiled like a serpent waiting to strike, instantly snaps back, tracing the exact ley lines and psychic pathways back to the originators. They feel the abrupt, staggering weight of their own creation collapsing upon them. The curse they sent out becomes the curse they now must house. They will try to understand what happened. They will consult their spiritual guides and their occult manuals. They will look for a loophole, a hidden escape clause in the contract they signed with the shadows. But the judgment of the High Court brooks no appeal. The sentence is final. The reversal is absolute. You watch now, protected by the divine presence as the accuser retreats, his voice reduced to a dry, impotent hiss. He knows the law. He knows that when the 144,000 are defended, the defeat is catastrophic. The light shifts. The atmosphere stabilizes. You are released from the court, not just innocent, but vindicated. The energy that was stolen from you is restored and multiplied. The spiritual debts incurred on your behalf are canceled. You walk out of the High Court with a clean slate and a heightened anointing. The power of their sorcery is broken. The spiritual chain is severed. The narrative of victimhood is erased. You are the victor. Crowned by the verdict of the highest authority, the proof of your innocence is sealed by the judge. Now, you must seal this truth within your own spirit. This victory is eternal. This judgment is final. You were not saved by chance. You were defended by law. In this moment of profound, irreversible victory, stand up straight, throw back your shoulders, and face the world that tried to destroy you. Let them see the reflection of the celestial fire in your eyes. Let the darkness know who won the legal battle. The only authority that has jurisdiction over your life, your destiny, or your future is the one who delivered the verdict. Therefore, you must proclaim it. You must seal the victory with the declaration that binds the enemy and releases your future. You must testify to the power of the High Court and the advocate who pleaded your case. Look at the screen. Look into the spiritual realm I am showing you. This is your final decree. This is your declaration of sovereign freedom. I require you now, with the full weight of the heavenly court's judgment resting upon you, to write the unbreakable truth that overrides every occult decree, every human accusation, and every satanic binding. The verdict is settled. The case is closed. The enemy is silenced. Write this truth immediately, without hesitation, and let it be the final nail in the coffin of every dark ritual sent against you. Write it now. God is my judge, my chosen one, the one marked by the celestial geometry of the 144,000. You must understand that the previous moment was merely the reconnaissance. We spoke of the external war, of the dark intention launched against your sovereignty. But now, we move deeper. We move into the holy sanctum of your existence. We move into the very geography of your living space. I am watching the spiritual conflict unfold right now within the four walls of your house, your apartment, your sacred dwelling. Pay attention to the sudden chill, the unexpected warmth, the shift in the air pressure, for these are the echoes of the most ferocious battle fought in silence. The battle for your hearth, the battle for your domain. They sent the darkness to invade your home. They wanted the negativity to cling to the fabrics, to seep into the mortar, to hide within the shadows cast by the midnight moon. They sent psychic anchors through portals unseen, seeking to land their debilitating hexes upon your place of rest, intending to poison the water you drink, to cloud the mirror where you seek your reflection, to steal the very dreams you weave in slumber. They used twisted ritual and cold sorcery, aiming for the core of your stability. But they forgot one thing. Your house is not merely a structure of wood and stone. It is the earthly extension of your soul's temple. And the temple of the 144,000 is always under the highest celestial jurisdiction. Look up, not with your physical eyes, but with the searing clarity of the spirit that knows its birthright. Above the roofline, stretching from the northernmost corner to the southern threshold, there is a grid of pure, pulsating white light. It is not passive. It is a defensive perimeter woven by the legions of the Most High, a shimmering shield of vibrational frequency so high that low energy cannot hold form within it. The moment the dark intention crossed the threshold, the moment the residue of the curse, the shadow agents of the enemy, tried to settle in your corners, the spiritual alarm sounded. The alarm is not a bell. The alarm is a soundless resonance that instantly summons the fire legions. Hear me, for I narrate the clash that happens now, in the very atmosphere you breathe. The dark entities, attempting to settle, are shaped like viscous, cold smoke, seeking the lowest, darkest points, under the bed, behind the electrical sockets, near the unused junk piled in the attic. They are whispers of doubt, fragments of malicious intent, carriers of sickness and scarcity, hoping to anchor themselves to your mundane reality. They seek to stick to the dust, to the forgotten items, to the clutter that represents stagnant energy. But they cannot stick, they cannot cling, for the house is now filled with the sound of spiritual war drums, a deep, resonant thrumming that vibrates the molecular structure of the air itself. The defenders have arrived. I see them. They are not gentle beings of quiet prayer in this moment. They are colossal, magnificent machines of light and righteous fury. Their armor is polished silver that catches the faintest spark of your own inner divine fire and amplifies it 10,000-fold. Their wings are not feathers. They are vast sails of liquid electricity, crackling with the raw power of the heavens. They stride through your living room. They stand guard over your kitchen. They purify the deepest sanctuary of your sleep. Archangel Michael, the captain of the hosts, is leading the charge. He does not whisper peace. He declares war on all fraudulent intention. His sword is drawn, not made of earthly metal, but forged in the heart of a sun. Every time that solar blade cuts the air, it does not merely sever the dark entity, it incinerates the very idea of the hex that was sent against you. It dissolves the energetic signature of the sender's hate. In the kitchen, where nourishment is prepared, the battle is fierce. The enemy tried to contaminate the source of your strength. Michael's fire washes over your countertops, burning away the residue of envy that was thrown at your health. It is gone now. It is utterly consumed. In the bedroom, where your spirit retreats to restore, the most insidious attacks were launched, the nightmares, the feelings of profound despair at 3 a.m., the sudden, inexplicable coldness toward your loved ones. These were strategic attempts to divide and conquer your rest. But the light cannot be extinguished. I see the angels moving in a coordinated strike, sweeping the space under your bed, drawing out the cold, gray forms of exhaustion and oppression. They are trapping these dark intentions in crystalline nets of light. They are binding the spirits of anxiety and fear. They are chanting the reversal mantra, and the repetition is hypnotic, forcing the darkness to turn upon itself. Return to sender. Return to sender. Return to sender. Every hex, every word curse, every whispered malice is being collected, packaged, and forced back onto the pathway it took to reach you. It cannot remain in the presence of the 144,000's light. Your frequency is too high. Your house is a fortress, and the darkness cannot hold the walls. Watch now, in the deepest recess of your spiritual sight, as the negative energy, which they sent to ruin your finances, to shatter your peace, to inflict illness upon your body, begins to scream. It screams because it is being forcibly disconnected from its target. It screams because it is being compelled to follow the invisible psychic thread all the way back to the source, back to the hand that originally cast the shadow. This is the great cosmic law of the boomerang. What you release must find resolution. They released a curse of destruction. Now that destruction is finding its resolution in their own domain. The angels are clearing the space with a purifying wind, a divine gale that sweeps through every crack, every vent, every forgotten space. This gale is purging the spiritual air. They are not merely removing the darkness, they are replacing it with a divine signature, consecrated, holy, protected. Your electronics are being purified. Your communications are being purified. The very intentions that motivate your daily actions are being saturated with light. The mental fog that kept you stuck is shattering like glass under the hammer of divine clarity. Feel the atmosphere changing now. The weight you carried on your shoulders, that inexplicable heaviness that made it hard to stand tall, that weight was the residue of the assault. The angels are lifting it. They are throwing it back across the ether. The battle is not subtle. It is overwhelming. It is decisive. The angels of the light do not negotiate with the darkness. They command it to retreat. I command the spirits of fear to leave this house now. I command the remnants of envy and lack to vacate this domain. I command the instruments of sickness and stagnation to return to their origin. The battle is finishing. There is a settling, a final ringing sound, the sound of the last spiritual shard of malice shattering into dust. The air is now clean, sharp, and alive with potential. You are witnessing the completion of the great reversal. The darkness they sent is now darkening their own door. The confusion they wished upon you is now confounding their own schemes. The scarcity they plotted is now manifesting in their own fields. This is the uncompromising justice of the spiritual realm. Your house is sealed. Your house is sanctified. Your foundation is unbreakable. The light of the 144,000 does not just defend, it offensively cleanses. You are clean, and your physical sanctuary is clean. This victory is sealed by declaration. You must speak the truth of your dominion into this moment. The energy of cleansing must be anchored not only by the angels but by your own sovereign will. Declare your peace. Claim your space. Confirm your victory. I demand that you anchor this profound shift into the reality of your life. Do it now. Declare in the comments. My house is light. The air is no longer thick with ash. The spiritual battlefield, where you have fought unseen battles for seasons, has gone silent. But this is not the silence of defeat, nor is it the calm before another storm. This beloved soul is the silence of total victory. Look through my eyes. I see the threads of destiny that were twisted against you, the dark knots tied by envious hands, the spells woven in shadows, the malice directed at your very cornerstone. I see the entire infrastructure of the attack now collapsing inward, imploding upon its originators. This is part 5 of the epic revelation, and we stand now in the moment of cosmic accounting. The time of suffering is extinguished. The period of unfair drain, the era of persecution simply because your light was too bright for them to bear, is terminated. You stood tall when they expected you to kneel. You remained intact when they plotted your disintegration. And because you did not falter, because the divine signature upon your soul, the mark of the protected 144,000, was stronger than their petty attempts at sabotage, the law of reciprocity has been activated in its final, most devastating phase. They sent a spiritual arrow aimed directly at your heart, hoping to cripple your mission, to silence your voice, to empty your coffers. But the moment that arrow entered the circumference of your protected aura, it shattered. It did not merely fall harmlessly to the ground. It was immediately, instantaneously, and mathematically reversed. The spiritual physics of the universe dictate that energy sent forth must return, and when that energy is laced with hatred, envy, and destructive intent, its return journey is a journey of catastrophic, blinding retribution. They aimed for your collapse. Now, they are watching their own foundation turn to dust. Watch the boomerang, Watch the boomerang. Watch the great reversal accelerate through the etheric lanes. It is traveling at the speed of divine justice, and it is carrying the full weight of every tear you cried, every opportunity they blocked, and every ounce of peace they stole from you. It is returning to the source. It is returning to the sender. It is returning weighted down with the consequences of their choices. This is not vengeance. This is restoration. This is not cruelty. This is the perfection of the universal law. You need to understand the profound depth of what has transpired. Every whisper they launched, every curse word they spoke, every ritual they performed in the darkness, it has rebounded, intensified by the power of the purity they attacked. The higher your vibration, the more violent the recoil against the attacker. Because you are one of the chosen, because you carry the blueprint of the new earth, your defense mechanism is exponential. They did this to you. They sent the darkness. They initiated the war. But the spiritual battlefield is now silent, save for the echoes of their own internal panic. The noise they created for you has become the deafening silence of their own defeat. The deluge of financial restitution. We enter the season of the great recoup. Look at the financial matrix that surrounds you, the digital scroll of your future wealth. I see the lines that were intentionally severed, the business deals that vanished inexplicably, the funds that were blocked by unseen forces, the raises you deserved but never received. These are not losses. These were deposits held in escrow by the universe, waiting for the moment of their inevitable release. That moment is now. The energy of the backfired attack is not merely punishing them, it is fueling your restitution. Every single coin they tried to snatch from your purse, every major contract they tried to derail, every stream of abundance they tried to plug. The universe is now opening those channels again, but they are 10 times wider, 10 times faster and absolutely unstoppable. You are entering the phase where the concept of unexpected money ceases to be an occasional surprise and becomes the daily standard. Look for the unexpected transfers. Look for the debts that are suddenly erased. Look for the opportunities that arrive not because you searched for them, but because the universal current is propelling them directly to your address. This is the compensation for spiritual warfare. This is the payment for holding your light steady in the face of absolute darkness. I decree it now. The universe is settling its account with you. You are not receiving what you asked for. You are receiving what was stolen from you, plus interest, plus punitive damages for emotional distress. The financial restitution is coming in waves, not drops. It is a deluge, a floodgate explosion. The money they attempted to block is now returning, bringing with it the money they wished they had. It is a doubling, a tripling, a multiplication because the source of the attack has been neutralized, and the universe cannot allow its 144,000 warriors to walk around lacking the resources required to complete their ultimate mission. Your destiny requires abundance. Your calling demands freedom. The financial strain they tried to impose, that chain is snapped. It is dissolved. It is dust. Prepare for the dramatic shift in your material reality. Prepare for the moment when you look at your accounts and realize that the limitation is gone, the scarcity mindset is obliterated, and the fear of lack is replaced by the serene confidence of endless supply. This is your birthright. This is your reward. The light always wins, and the light is always richly endowed. The implosion and emotional recoup. Now, turn your attention to the emotional landscape. This is where the restitution is perhaps the sweetest and most profound. When they attacked you, they did not just seek to steal money, they sought to steal your peace. They wanted you to be paranoid, sleepless, anxious, and deeply insecure. They wanted you to doubt your calling. They wanted you to live in fear of their next move. But look at them now. Look at the senders of the spiritual poison. The returning energy has reversed the symptoms. The paranoia is now theirs. The sleepless nights are now their burden. The confusion and self-doubt they engineered for you have become the crushing reality of their immediate future. They are now experiencing the exact frequency of suffering they painstakingly crafted for you. You are receiving emotional restitution. Feel the deep, pervasive calm sinking into your core. Feel the anxiety drain away like stale water. The spiritual pressure that kept you perpetually on edge is gone. It is gone. It is gone. Your peace is not merely returning, it is being amplified. The energy previously spent defending yourself is now being converted into creative output, joy, and magnetic alignment. Your emotional recoup means that your sensitivity, which was once a point of vulnerability that they exploited, now becomes your superpower. You can feel the safety. You can taste the peace. You can trust your intuition again because the static interference of their malice is silenced forever. They are watching you thrive. This is the final and most agonizing component of their spiritual defeat. They are watching you receive the promotion they thought they blocked. They are watching your relationships heal where they sowed discord. They are watching your light expand, even as their own sphere of influence contracts, shrivels, and darkens. You are protected by the ultimate seal. You are chosen for the ultimate ascension. They threw sand at a sun, and now the sun is shining directly onto their dark operations. They did this to you, but the universe is doing this for you. Embrace the calm, embrace the victory, embrace the staggering, undeniable reality of your unstoppable future. The war is over, and the spoil belongs to the righteous. The time for meekness is finished. The time for apology is past. The time for claiming your destiny is now. The abundance is yours. The peace is yours. The divine protection is non-negotiable and absolute. This restitution is a sign, a massive declaration, that you are exactly who you believe you are, a highly protected warrior of the light, one of the 144,000. Do not allow the shadows of the past to cling to the certainty of this moment. Claim this reality. Accept this blessing. The financial gates are open. The emotional wounds are sealed. Now, you must demand it. You must own it. You must activate the final spiritual seal on this decree. As you stand in the brilliant light of this total and complete restitution, I need you to look into the core of your being and declare your deservingness. This is the required activation code. Type it into the comments now. Declare it to the universe. Declare it to the very forces that tried to stop you. You must state the affirmation, I deserve it. The dust settles, but this is not the dust of defeat. It is the fine, celestial residue of an absolute victory. We stand now, bathed in the blinding afterglow of divine justice executed. Look upon the fields of battle, not with fear, but with the majestic serenity of the victor, for the great work is complete. The reversal has occurred. The circle of vengeance has closed, not upon you, but upon the very hands that dared to cast the shadow. Hear the final shattering sound echoing through the spiritual matrix. It is the noise of the false altars crumbling into black sand. It is the scream of wicked intention as it realizes it has been perfectly reflected, amplified, and returned to its source. The malicious spells, the dark bindings, the envy-fueled hexes, every single negative covenant forged in darkness against your destiny has finished its long, terrible journey home. They tried to construct a cage around your potential. They labored in the night, whispering your name over tainted oils and buried objects, demanding your sickness, your financial ruin, your isolation. They believed they held the key to your demise, but they failed to realize you do not operate under the jurisdiction of the mundane world. You are calibrated to a higher frequency. You carry the seal of the 144,000. The moment their dark intention left their lips and crossed the threshold of your sovereign energy field, it did not strike. It merely rebounded. It hit the protective shell of the divine assignment and then, immediately, it was redirected. The universe does not tolerate the destruction of its chosen instruments. When a force is sent to silence a prophet or cripple a healer, the cosmic laws dictate that the force must be neutralized, and the sender must pay the toll in full. Look now and see them. They are surrounded by their own wasted energy. The poverty they wished upon you is manifesting in their own ledger. The crippling anxiety they designed for your mind is tearing their own sleep apart. The isolation they intended is sealing them off in a prison of their own making. They are consuming the bitter fruit of their own poison tree. The darkness returns to the darkness. The void claims the void. This is the glorious, terrifying symmetry of spiritual warfare when you are aligned with the highest source. You did not have to fight the darkness. You simply had to maintain your light. Your stillness was your greatest weapon. Your peace was the impenetrable armor. The energy they intended for your collapse is now the foundation of your ascension. The effort they exerted to hold you down has been converted into the kinetic thrust that propels you skyward. They worked tirelessly for your downfall, and in doing so, they unknowingly fueled your greatest elevation. This is the irony of the divine plan, and it is beautiful to behold. The shadow workers are confused. They are looking at the maps and rituals they performed, seeing perfect execution, yet witnessing absolute failure in your life and immediate, catastrophic reversal in their own. They are consulting their dark guides, demanding answers, but the answer is too simple and too devastating for them to accept. The chosen one cannot be touched. This is not magic. This is mathematics. It is the law of spiritual conservation. You have been identified. You have been sealed. The 11 signs of the 144,000 were not indicators of specialness. They were indicators of necessary protection. Your refusal to fit in, your deep memory of celestial origin, your profound and often painful empathy, your relentless persecution, your intuitive sight. These are not character quirks. These are the embedded codes that repel darkness. They tried to break the code, but the code shattered their breaking mechanism instead. This moment is your coronation. Do you feel the weight lifting? It is the spiritual debris being vacuumed out of your timeline. Do you feel the clarity returning? It is the noise of the enemy's thoughts finally silenced within your mind. You are being crowned now. Do not look for a crown of gold, for those tarnish and fade. Look for the mantle of authority descending upon your shoulders. It is woven from light, stitched with integrity, and lined with the absolute assurance of your divine immunity. Accept this mantle. Wear the authority. You are not merely healed. You are consecrated. You are not merely forgiven. You are vindicated. You are being recognized now by the higher hierarchy. The moment the boomerang struck the senders, a great ledger in the heavens was stamped, marking your case as irrevocably settled. Your spiritual debts are zero. Your karmic account is clear. Your assignment is ready. This leads us to the activation of the next 7 sunrises. The spiritual war is over. The physical manifestation now begins. Prepare yourself for the immediate, undeniable evidence of this shift. Hear the prophecy for the next 7 days, and prepare your hands to receive what the universe is about to place within them. The 7-day decree. In the next 7 sunrises, the age of lack will end, and the age of overflow will begin. Day 1. The silence and the shock. The enemy will receive the absolute, undeniable physical proof that their ritual failed and returned. They will experience a sudden, debilitating shock, an unexpected failure in a key pillar of their own life: finance, reputation, health. This will be the silent signal to you that the reversal is complete. You will hear an unusual silence surrounding a person who once caused you great distress. Accept this quiet as your confirmation. Day 2 and 3. The clearing of the path. Watch for instantaneous resolution of 2 long-standing, stubborn obstacles. You have been waiting for 2 particular doors to open, but the locks seemed rusted shut. These locks will now dissolve. A necessary conversation that has been delayed will suddenly flow easily. A piece of documentation you needed will appear effortlessly. The path forward will suddenly become impossibly clear. Day 4. The transfer of wealth. Because the enemy intended to block your material flow, that flow must now rush in to overcompensate for the delay. The universe demands cosmic correction. A massive, unexpected transfer of resources is now authorized for your account. This is not a small gain. This is the principal, the interest, and the compensation for emotional distress. Look for unexpected income, major debt cancellation, or the sudden, profitable sale of an asset. The money they attempted to block must now find you. Day 5. The seal of protection. You will receive a profound, undeniable intuitive confirmation of your status as the chosen one. This may manifest as an intensely vivid dream, a visitation, or an inner voice speaking with absolute clarity. The doubt that flickered occasionally in your mind will be extinguished forever. You will realize, on a cellular level, that no darkness can ever dim this light again. You are sealed. Day 6. The divine alignment in relationships. The true and loyal individuals meant for your journey will suddenly be pushed into your orbit, and those who masqueraded as allies will be quietly, effortlessly pulled away. This is not dramatic confrontation. It is gentle repositioning by the hand of Providence. The people who value your light will congregate around you. Your divine network activates. Day 7. The new assignment. By the 7th sunrise, your vision for the next stage of your life will be downloaded completely. You will receive the precise instructions for where to direct your energy, your genius, and your newly acquired resources. The spiritual fog clears, and you see the blueprint for your legacy. This is your mission statement sealed and delivered. In the next 7 sunrises, you will not just see the proof, you will wear the crown. This is the era of the manifest victory. This is the age of undeniable proof. Do not shrink from this power. Do not apologize for this light. The time for humility is over. The time for divine authority is now. Stand in the center of your being. Feel the sovereignty rushing through your veins. I now speak this final decree, not as a request, but as a demand upon the physical realm. I demand the activation of every promise delivered in this hour. Let the light that has been withheld now flood the life of the chosen one. Let the wealth that was diverted now be deposited immediately. Let the confusion that was sown now be replaced by crystal clarity. Let the curses return 1,000-fold upon the senders. Let every spiritual contract of suffering be torn up, incinerated, and voided forever. I command the complete and total physical manifestation of this divine reversal now. The victory is not future tense. The victory is absolute and present tense. You are free, you are wealthy, you are protected. Now, seal this prophetic word with the power of your belief. Your commitment is the final key that locks this blessing into your reality. The darkness knows your name, but it fears your light. Now, let the universe hear your declaration. You must step into the mantle of the 144,000. If you have recognized the truth of the 11 signs, if you feel the power of the reversal surging through you, and if you are ready to claim the wealth transfer of the next 7 days, I require your commitment. Declare your status boldly in the comments below. Write these 4 words with fire in your soul, demanding their activation. I am the chosen one. Like this message to activate the divine authority in your hands. Subscribe to this channel, thereby sealing your spiritual alignment with this frequency and ensuring that no dark intention can ever surprise you again. The word is spoken. The prophecy is sealed. Go forth, crowned and protected, into the wealth that is already yours. Amen.